What if I told you that everything you think you need, approval, resources, experience, is already in your hands? What if I said that a single idea, a single choice, could change not just your life, but the lives of millions? Imagine a world where one person's courage to act, to simplify, to serve, and to never stop improving reshapes industries, communities, and the future itself. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. What you need is action. What you need is clarity. What you need is the decision to start now, to build what matters, and to leave a mark no one can ignore. Today, you hold the power to be the person who moves the world, and it all begins with one step, one idea, one choice. Will you take it? Simplicity creates power because it forces the mind to cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. Most people complicate their lives not because the world is difficult, but because their thinking is cluttered. Simplicity is not the absence of complexity, it is the mastery of it. When a person learns to look at a tangled problem and search for the cleanest path instead of the fanciest one, they unlock a level of clarity that leads to true innovation. Every great leap forward begins with someone asking a very basic question that others were too busy to consider. The mind moves faster when it is unburdened by unnecessary details, and solutions become visible when the distractions fall away. What looks simple on the surface is often the result of deep understanding underneath. Simplicity is powerful because it is universal. Complicated ideas reach the few, simple ideas reach the world. When a concept is stripped down to its essence, anyone can grasp it, use it, and build upon it. That's how ideas spread. That's how industries shift. When a solution is simple enough for the average person to understand, it becomes useful to them. And when millions start using something, the world changes. The real genius is not creating a machine so intricate that only an expert can operate it. It is creating a machine so simple that anyone can. Simplicity bridges the gap between invention and impact. There is also strength in simplicity because it removes excuses. A simple plan eliminates hesitation. A simple tool eliminates confusion. A simple belief eliminates doubt. People fail not because their dreams are too large, but because their methods are too tangled. When you simplify your direction, you begin to see progress that once felt impossible. Complexity slows action. Simplicity accelerates it. A clear goal, a clear system, and a clear daily routine can transform a person faster than any complicated strategy ever will. Simplicity demands discipline. It requires the courage to remove what is unnecessary. Many add more steps, more features, more layers because they fear being wrong. But power comes from reduction, not addition. The strongest ideas are the ones that survive the process of stripping away everything that does not matter. When you keep cutting until only the essential remains, you are left with something efficient, dependable, and unbreakable. This is the heart of productivity, innovation, and mastery. Simplicity is not laziness, it is precision. It is the ability to hold a problem in your mind and turn it around until you see the most direct answer. When your thinking becomes simple, your work becomes fast. When your work becomes fast, your results multiply. And once you understand the force that simplicity carries, you stop chasing complexity for the sake of appearance and begin seeking clarity for the sake of progress. Hard work is only the start because effort alone has limits, but efficiency has none. Many people grow up hearing that the solution to every problem is simply to work harder, push longer, and grind without pause. But there comes a point where more hours do not equal more progress. Hard work builds character, yes, but efficiency builds results. Efficiency is the art of accomplishing in 1 hour what others require 3 to do. It is the discipline of removing unnecessary motions, unnecessary decisions, and unnecessary delays. When a person learns to pair relentless effort with intelligent design, they step into a level of productivity that separates them from the crowd. Hard work opens the door. Efficiency builds the entire house. Efficiency is powerful because it respects time, the one resource that cannot be replaced, expanded, or regained once wasted. Most people lose hours to disorganization, unclear thinking, poorly designed routines, and emotional reaction instead of purposeful action. They confuse movement with progress, believing that being busy is the same as being effective. But efficiency demands a sharper measurement, not how long you worked, but how much impact you created. It focuses on the outcome instead of the noise surrounding it. When you begin treating your time as a tool instead of a container to fill, everything you do becomes more intentional. Every minute has a job. Every action has a purpose. Efficiency also comes from understanding systems. The most successful people do not rely solely on self-discipline or motivation. They build systems that guide their behavior. A system can be a workflow, a routine, a method, or a sequence of steps that reduces friction and increases consistency. When a task is repeated, a system makes it faster. When a challenge is complex, a system makes it manageable. Systems do for the mind what machines do for labor. They multiply output while reducing strain. Hard work without systems becomes exhausting. Hard work with systems becomes unstoppable. Efficiency is also the ability to detect waste. Waste of energy, waste of motion, waste of thought. Many underestimate how much of their effort is spent on things that do not move them forward. Efficiency teaches you to question every action. Does this step matter? Can it be done faster? Can it be simplified? Can it be automated? Can it be eliminated altogether? A person who thinks this way starts improving every process they touch. They find shortcuts not because they are lazy, but because they are observant. They save time not by rushing, but by refining. Efficiency demands humility because it requires admitting that the current way is not the best way. Many cling to their old methods out of pride or fear of change, even when those methods fail them. Efficiency replaces pride with curiosity. It asks, how can this be done better, and never stops asking. Hard work has a ceiling, but improvement has no limit. When hard work is paired with efficiency, effort transforms into innovation, speed transforms into mastery, and success becomes a matter of design, not chance. One idea can reshape an entire industry because every major transformation in history began with a single spark, one question, one frustration, one moment of clarity that others overlooked. The world often moves in straight lines until someone dares to draw a curve. Most people accept the conditions they inherit, repeating what has always been done, following patterns established long before they were born. But progress is made by the person who looks at what exists and asks, why must it stay this way? One idea, when paired with courage, can disrupt decades of tradition. It can shift how people work, how they travel, how they communicate, how they live. Industries do not change because the world is ready. They change because one mind refuses to be satisfied with the current state of things. A powerful idea is rarely complex at the beginning. It often starts small, almost fragile, like a seed. Others may mock it, ignore it, or misunderstand it because its potential is invisible to them. But the thinker who holds it sees something others do not. They see a future version of that idea, matured and multiplied, shaping the lives of millions. That initial belief is what keeps the idea alive long enough to become real. All major breakthroughs, from machines to technologies to business models, were once labeled impossible, impractical, or unnecessary. Yet the world eventually bends toward the ideas that solve real problems, save real time, or create real value. The reason one idea can reshape an entire industry is because industries are built on assumptions. When an idea challenges an assumption, everything built upon that assumption begins to shift. An industry may rely on slow processes, expensive tools, or outdated methods simply because no one questioned them. When a new idea breaks those limitations, it exposes possibilities that were always there but never recognized. Competitors scramble to keep up, standards rise, efficiency increases, opportunities expand, the ripple effect spreads outward, touching workers, consumers, businesses, and even societies. A single idea can rewrite the rules for everyone involved. What gives an idea its world-changing power is the persistence behind it. Ideas alone do not transform anything. It is the relentless execution of them that forces change. Many brilliant ideas die because their creators abandon them too soon. But the ones who push forward, who test and improve and iterate, eventually uncover the version of the idea that works. When that happens, the industry must respond. People's expectations shift. What was once considered extraordinary becomes normal. A new benchmark is created, and the old way quickly becomes obsolete. One idea reshapes an industry because human behavior responds to anything that makes life easier, faster, cheaper, or more accessible. When an idea brings convenience to the masses, it gains unstoppable momentum. It becomes part of daily life. It becomes the new foundation on which future ideas are built. Entire systems reorganize around it. Workers are trained differently, products are designed differently, services are delivered differently. A single thought, once dismissed as trivial, becomes the force that moves the world forward. Don't wait for permission to build what you believe in, because the world rarely welcomes new ideas with open arms. Most people fear change, even when change is exactly what they need. If you wait for approval, you will spend your entire life standing still while opportunities pass you by. Every meaningful achievement began with someone who decided to move forward despite the doubts, objections, or silence of others. The truth is, no one else can see the world through your eyes. No one else carries your exact vision, your frustrations, your curiosity, or your determination. Permission becomes irrelevant the moment you understand that progress only happens when action overrides hesitation. The reason people wait for permission is rooted in the need for reassurance. They want someone to confirm that their path is valid, safe, or guaranteed to succeed. But innovation offers no guarantees. The early stages of any bold idea are filled with uncertainty. Others may not understand what you are trying to create because they cannot yet see the outcome. They judge your idea based on the present, while you are imagining a future they have not experienced. If you tie your ambition to their approval, you will limit yourself to what they already know instead of what you could discover. Progress demands independence from the doubts of others. Building what you believe in requires the willingness to stand alone at first. Every creator, inventor, or visionary begins in solitude, working on something that only exists in their mind. The early steps of building are often invisible to the world, and that is when doubt tries to creep in. Doubt becomes stronger when you measure your confidence by the reactions of people who cannot see what you see. But when you act despite that doubt, something shifts internally. You start trusting your abilities. You realize that the power to create is not given to you, it is claimed by you. Permission does not come before success. It comes after. Those who wait for perfect conditions never begin. The world will always have problems, distractions, limitations, and critics. If you wait for the right moment, you will watch life slip by while other, less hesitant people build the future you dreamed of. The moment you take action, even a small step, the world begins to respond. Resources appear. Opportunities emerge. People who once ignored your idea begin to notice its potential. Momentum grows not from approval but from movement. Not waiting for permission also forces you to develop resilience. When you build something the world is not expecting, you face obstacles that test your commitment. Each challenge strengthens the idea, sharpens your skills, and deepens your understanding of your path. By pushing forward, you become capable of more than you ever anticipated. You learn to rely on your judgment, your skill, and your persistence. The greatest breakthroughs come from those who refuse to slow down simply because permission has not been granted. Creation is an act of courage, and the world ultimately changes because a single person chose to act instead of waiting for someone else to nod in approval. Power comes from serving the common person because true progress is measured not by how much luxury a few individuals gain, but by how much opportunity the majority receives. When you focus on helping ordinary people, workers, families, dreamers, the everyday backbone of society, you tap into the largest and most transformative force in the world. The needs of the common person are universal. They want reliability, affordability, dignity, and a chance to rise. When your work supports those needs, your influence multiplies far beyond what prestige or exclusivity could ever achieve. Greatness is not built by catering to elites. It is built by lifting the standard of life for those who have been overlooked. Serving the common person creates power because it creates scale. A solution made only for the privileged few will always remain small, fragile, and dependent on a limited audience. But when you create something that improves life for millions, you become part of the system that holds society together. Mass impact comes from mass usefulness. When your work helps people save time, reduce effort, earn more, or live better, your contribution becomes woven into daily life. The more people rely on what you built, the more influence you gain, not through force, but through value. There is also strength in understanding how ordinary people think and live. They want simplicity, affordability, and dependability. They want tools and systems that make their lives smoother, not more complicated. When you design something with the everyday person in mind, you learn to remove excess, eliminate confusion, focus on essential function. This sharpens your thinking and forces you to innovate in ways that matter. Serving the masses does not lower standards, it raises them. It pushes you to build products and ideas that are durable, efficient, and easy to use. That kind of design demands intelligence and humility. Working for the common person also creates loyalty. When people feel seen, supported, and empowered, they respond with trust. They talk about your work, share it, and defend it. Word of mouth becomes your greatest ally. Influence built on service is influence that lasts. It cannot be bought or manipulated, it must be earned. And once earned, it becomes a powerful foundation for expansion. Another reason serving the common person creates power is because it democratizes opportunity. When you create something accessible for millions, you help unlock potential that may have remained buried. A tool in the hands of one privileged individual has limited effect. The same tool in the hands of thousands or millions becomes a catalyst for change. It improves productivity, enhances mobility, increases income, or opens doors that were once closed. That ripple effect reshapes industries, economies, and communities. The common person is not weak or insignificant. They represent the collective strength of society. When you build for them, you align yourself with the force that drives labor, innovation, demand, and cultural direction. True power does not come from ruling over people. It comes from empowering them. It comes from making their lives better, easier, and more dignified. When your work serves the many instead of the few, you do not just succeed. You transform the world from the ground up. The future belongs to the one who keeps improving, because progress is not a single achievement. It's a continuous discipline. Success becomes fragile the moment a person believes they have done enough. The world evolves, technology advances, expectations rise, and competition grows sharper every day. Those who stop learning, refining, or pushing forward eventually fall behind, not because they lack talent, but because they stopped moving. Improvement is what keeps you relevant, competitive, and capable of shaping what comes next. The person who commits to constant advancement becomes impossible to overtake, because they never stay in the same place long enough for others to catch them. Improvement begins with the mindset that every result can be made better. No process is perfect, no design is final, and no method is immune to refinement. This attitude separates innovators from imitators. Most people stop once they achieve something that works. They find comfort in familiarity and fear disrupting the stability they've gained. But progress requires the courage to question even your own success. When you look at a functioning system and still ask, how can this be faster? How can this be simpler? How can this be more efficient? You create room for breakthroughs that others will never find. Improvement is not a sign of dissatisfaction. It is a sign of ambition. Continuous improvement also forces you to stay observant. Someone who keeps improving studies changes in the environment, listens to feedback, notices small flaws, and pays attention to new opportunities. They are not rigid, they adapt. Their flexibility becomes their strength. Many industries are transformed not by sudden catastrophes, but by slow shifts that catch complacent people off guard. The person who improves daily senses those shifts early and positions themselves ahead of the curve. They are prepared for transitions that others resist. Improvement sharpens skill. Repetition alone does not create mastery, mindful repetition does. Each cycle of improvement teaches you something new. You learn efficiencies, you eliminate errors, and you build instincts that cannot be taught in books. Improvement creates compound growth, small enhancements that multiply over time until they produce massive results. A 1% improvement daily becomes transformational over a year. This quiet, consistent progress outperforms dramatic but temporary bursts of effort. Another reason improvement shapes the future is that it builds resilience. When you are used to adjusting, experimenting, and evolving, challenges do not intimidate you. You treat obstacles as opportunities to refine your approach. You do not fear failure because improvement has taught you that failure is simply information. While others crumble under pressure, you remain steady because growth is your natural state. Improvement also inspires those around you. People gravitate towards someone who is always striving, always learning, always elevating. That energy creates momentum within teams, communities, and industries. When others witness your dedication, that kind of thinking is not reserved for one man or one era. It is available to everyone willing to commit to purpose, courage, and continuous growth. The blueprint has been written. Now it belongs to you. Good luck. Thank you, message. Thank you for listening. And may these principles guide you as you build your own path.